What's up, guys? Alex here, ajnashville.com. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I hope that all of you had a incredible Thanksgiving holiday. I hope you were able to spend some time with your families, enjoy part of the day, go out there and do some things that you wouldn't do on a regular basis, separating from social media, some of the negativity in life, and kind of just enjoying the company of people that you care about. Yesterday, I had a great Thanksgiving with my family, was able to spread some freedom seeds. For those of you that are not familiar with what freedom seeds are, those would be bullets, ammunition, guns, things like that. So we had a great time doing that, but it triggered me to stop and think about things. It triggered me to stop to think that, in a lot of cases, there's just one day a year where we all get together with the whole family and we talk about it, what's went on in our year and how great things are. And, we never actually sit down and do this on a regular basis. You never actually sit down and write down the things that may mean something to you. This is something that somebody challenged me earlier this year, and they were like, write a blessing sheet. Write down the things that you feel like you're blessed for, the things that are in your life that are positive, that, you enjoy. And so I did. And this was early in the year. Like I said, this was January or so of 2019. And it really resonated with me. It allowed me to look at the things that I have, and not the monetary things. I'm talking about the things like good health, a good career, a family, a home, a vehicle, all those little things that we take for granted every day. Most of us don't get up in the morning and look and say, thank God for this. I'm so happy. I'm so blessed to have all this. Some of us even get in the car and complain about the place that we're going to spend part of our day because we hate it so much, even though it provides for our family. So it's taking some time and stepping back and writing down some of the things that we're grateful for. That's something we all should do. And it sounds elementary to sit down and actually write it down, but it's so much easier to visualize each and every one of those things if you have it written down on a piece of paper. It's so much easier to write things down and see how many positive things are really going on in your life on a day-to-day basis, as opposed to all the negative things. We get in situations sometimes where we get caught up in some of the negativity, and there's instances, we've all been there, where it's like, oh my God, there's no way out. This is, everything's going bad, everything's falling apart. What am I going to do? But then we have all these positive things that are going on, things that we don't even realize that are positive. For a person that's healthy but may have negative things going on in their life, well, you still have health, you still have family, you still have other things that a lot of people would be wishful for. For people that are going through bad situations, it may not seem like there's a way out, but there's always a brighter day. And this is coming from a person that's experienced those deep, dark days. I'm not just some random person that grew up with a golden spoon in my mouth and never experienced anything, and I'm naive to negativity and tragedy and things like that. Like most of you that listen to this know I've been through a lot. And when I look back to where I was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and I see the progression of my life, I'm very thankful and very happy to have met the people that I've met, to be surrounded by the people that I surround myself with, the positive support. I've got a couple friends, Justin and Mike, who yesterday spent time feeding homeless. They made plates and everything and went out and fed a bunch of people in the Nashville area that are homeless and less fortunate. And it feels good to be able to look and to say, those are my friends. Those are my friends that are impacting the community in a positive manner. Not people that are just out there leeching on the community, but they're doing something to give back. And they're enjoying the things that they're thankful for. And for them, it's better to do that since their family, for the most part, doesn't live down this way. So when I look at those things, I think about how thankful I am to have access to those people, to have those people as friends, those like-minded individuals. A lot of we're doing a Play-Doh drive right now. This is something that we do with the Team Annie Rose Foundation. This is our second year doing it. Team Annie Rose has done it for years and years and years. But this is their way to give back to the Vanderbilt Children's Clinic. And what they're doing, Children's Hospital. And what they're doing is providing something that some people that I've talked to have had the opportunity to experience. And, it's simple. It's Play-Doh. It's 50 cents a can. It's cheap. And we look at it and we never give it a second thought. But for a child that's in therapy or a child that's in the hospital currently, it's something that they need. And so we have the opportunity to go ahead and give back to the children of the area. And the big thing is it's not just the opportunity to do that, but it's the stories that are shared. Some of the cards that I've gotten with some of the Play-Doh where it expresses how their child was in a circumstance like that prior, and the Play-Doh is one of the things that they really enjoyed. Like that for me makes it all worth it anyways, on top of the fact that it's worth it to do. But hearing those stories, it's kind of like this podcast. I've done, I think this is 156th episode that I've recorded. And there's times where when I'm doing it, I'm like, I can't even think of anything to talk about, or, the podcast is taking some time and I don't have time for it today. Even with this one, I started recording almost an hour ago, and I don't edit my podcast. I just had so many I was so unhappy with. I deleted, I started over. I delete, I start over. But when you get those messages of encouragement where people say, hey, this podcast changed my life because of this reason, or hey, I listen to your podcast consistently and this is what I enjoy about it, it far overshadows anything from a time consumption standpoint, anything that, I've got to buy this new piece of equipment or whatever the case may be. It makes it worth it, so to speak. But back to that list of things, we just talked about a couple things that I'm very grateful for. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to have each and every one of you listen to this podcast. Like, seriously, at what point in my life did I sit there and think, man, you know what? Somebody would want to listen to something I have to say for 10 or 15 or even 20 minutes in some cases. When I started this, it wasn't something I ever thought would take off like it has. And I kind of talk about it like this because this is year 3 now of this podcast. So it's amazing how time flies by. Equipment improves, sound quality improves. I listened to one of my earlier podcasts not too long ago, and the sound quality difference between the two, I was like, holy cow, I can't believe people even listen to that. And now it's something that's improved dramatically. But those are some of the small things that I'm blessed with. Thursday, my son Lincoln fell out of the shower. I got a call from my girlfriend. She's crying and upset, says he's bleeding. He had fallen out of the shower, and so she called 911. So I get there, pretty quickly. And, this is another part that I'm thankful for. We have these first responders that are there that had already assessed the situation, looked at him, said he's fine. You may want to take him to get him checked out, but everything else is good to go. And they were very calm and collective and informative, and they let me know exactly what was going on. There was no panic there. I mean, granted, they've seen this thing a million times now, or seen scenarios like this or far worse than this a million times. But I'm grateful for the fact that those people were able to respond and get there and have him looked at by the time I get there and let me know that my son was okay. That means a lot. Just like the men and women that are overseas right now, the people that are sacrificing their Thanksgiving holiday to make sure that the evil that takes place in foreign countries never steps foot on America's soil. That's something that we take for granted in a lot of cases. We don't think about the fact that there's things going on in other countries, even our own country, but specifically things in other countries that we would never want to see here. Some of the evil that takes place, that these men and women take their time to go sacrifice to make sure that never ends up on U.S. soil. So to those of you, thank you. To those of you that are first responders that spend your Thanksgiving holiday and your weekends and your nights and your daytimes and your recitals and everything else that you spend in order to make sure that our community runs smooth and that it's safe and we don't have to worry about raging maniacs out there. Thank you. To those of you that work retail jobs and had to get up and go to work last night, or maybe you worked part of the day while your family was enjoying Thanksgiving, you are a part of America that keeps everything going. And regardless if it's, the greeter at Walmart or a factory production manager or whatever capacity, whatever level, the person that works at a fuel station, thank you. Because if it wasn't for people like you, the country couldn't run smooth. Because let's face it, we all screw up. How many of us forgot to get gas on Wednesday for our long commute on Thursday? Or maybe we forgot to pick up the stovetop stuffing, and so we had to run to Walgreens or something like that to get it. All of us are guilty for it, and a lot of us look and we say, well, those places shouldn't be open. But the fact is, some of those places are open because people still need to make a living. And so people do decide to get up and voluntarily go into work to make sure that they're still getting paid and to make sure that our families are still getting served. And far too often we overshadow and overlook that with the fact that we're out doing Black Friday sales or something of that nature. So thank you to those people. Thank you to the people that sacrifice on a regular basis to keep everything moving. That's kind of what America's about, is keeping everything moving in a nice fluid direction. I didn't intend on coming to work today, but I have families that have to be served. Mine's in a different capacity, but I can't tell my families that are looking to purchase and get into their homes that, hey, you know what? I wanted to spend an extra day with my family, and this is going to impact yours in a negative direction. So here I am. But regardless of the situation, like I said, I am grateful. I am thankful for the things that I have in life. When I look back at where I was years ago, when I was in those holes in life where I never thought there was a way out, where I never thought things would improve, where I always looked at other people with idolization because it was like, wow, look at that person. They're doing really well. And I look at my progression of where I'm at and how proud I am to be where I am, how proud I am to have the support of the people that consistently, listen to this podcast, send me their business, tell people, hey, go talk to this guy. I couldn't be where I was without you. So I'm grateful for you. So hopefully you listen to this podcast and you take a moment to actually sit down and think about the things that are great in life. You think about the things that bring you joy and the things that are positive in your life and the people that you surround yourself with. And I hope that when you do so, you realize how fortunate you are, not only to be an American citizen, because that in itself says a lot, but also just to be a person that's alive, that's well, that's here, that's able to listen to this podcast. So I hope everyone has a great Friday. I hope not to not see you on any of those crazy Walmart Black Friday sale deals, but if you do end up on one, send me a copy of it because I'd still watch it. But I'm just kidding. I hope everyone has a great weekend, though. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.